Fractals and the geometry of reflection. Fractals show how simple generative rules produce structures that echo the whole at every scale. Start with visual, tangible examples: the branching of a tree, the spiral whirl of a nautilus shell, the jagged outline of a coastline. Each instance invites the question the video raises: can parts meaningfully mirror the whole? Mathematically, fractals are generated by iterative rules or recursion, the output at and long-run behavior reveals persistent structure. That persistence creates the intuition behind a living echo. Metaphor: local form is not arbitrary but constrained by a generative rule set that also shapes global form. To ground the metaphor, read a concise visual introduction to fractals and recursion. Look for works that emphasize iteration, attractors, and the Mandelbrot/Julia family, and pair those with natural history photography that highlights self-similarity in biological forms. This combination makes the leap from poetic analogy to an empirically visible pattern without pretending that formal self-similarity alone settles metaphysical questions. Comparative mysticism and non-duality. Non-dual philosophies claim that underlying apparent diversity is an indivisible reality. Advaita Vedanta, Taoism, and strands of Sufism each formulate this core insight differently. Advaita emphasizes an identity between Atman and Brahman. Taoism foregrounds an unamiable source whose transformations yield the world. Certain Sufi poetic practices place the beloved's unity at the heart of devotional experience. Contrast these with personalist or theistic traditions that maintain a creator-creature distinction even while affirming deep connection. Reading short comparative surveys of mysticism helps you see where the cosmic prism metaphor resonates and where it stretches or misses. Focus on writings that highlight lived practices, meditation, devotional recitation, koans, as well as doctrinal claims, because experiential methods often illuminate how traditions reconcile unity and multiplicity in real human lives. Such reading reveals that metaphysical oneness and ethical attention to persons are not always in tension. Many traditions balance both through practices that cultivate compassion and boundary awareness, emergence, complexity, and where metaphor meets science. Emergence explains how novel, system-level properties arise from interactions among parts. Flocking behavior appears, though no single bird plans the formation. Consciousness plausibly arises from networked neuronal processes, without a singular, pre-existing homunculus. Complexity science gives disciplined ways to talk about creativity, without invoking mysticism. Phase transitions, self-organization, and scale-dependent causation show how wholes can have properties not reducible to simple sums of parts. This is the most promising scientific ally of the video's thesis. It preserves the intuition that the whole expresses something new and irreducible, while insisting on mechanisms and constraints rather than mystical identity. Read short primers on complexity and emergence that emphasize models, simulation, and empirical examples. Resist treating metaphor as proof, but allow that metaphor can help form hypotheses. Scientists test bringing the threads together. A productive next step is hybrid reading, a visual/mathematical primer on fractals to anchor the aesthetic, a comparative mysticism overview to map the varieties of non-duality and their practices, and a concise complexity science introduction to frame how wholes can be real without invoking supernatural identity. Together, these perspectives let you treat the cosmic prism as a heuristic, a poetic framework that invites ethical and contemplative practices while remaining open to empirical refinement and philosophical critique.